Murder on the steps of a church.
They were trying to send a message that no place is safe.
The dramatic way evidence was destroyed after a parishioner was gunned down in front of his family. A woman ambushed on a park trail, now reliving those moments in court.
Something hit before I had to go testify how furious I am that this man tried to end my life.
Why the victim of a vicious attack wants payback, now more than ever. Slow and Steady didn't win this race.
I'm gonna get you, man. Just stop. Police, you're not free to go.
See what sparked the foot chase that would do an Olympic hurdler proud. Tonight, in the Spotlight.
They chose to target an individual who was with his wife and child attending a church event in broad daylight, and then took the getaway car to another church parking lot and lit it on fire. They were trying to send a message that no place is safe. We own this city. It doesn't matter if somebody's going to church with their family, we can take them out.
That was the lead pastor of a Seattle church talking about the brazen murder of one of his parishioners. On July 31st, 28-year-old LeBron Givon was walking to a church barbecue with his family when he was gunned down on the front steps. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the Spotlight. I'm David Rose. While LeBron's murder has shaken his church community, they are stepping up to support his family. And as the Spotlight's Frankie Thompson reports, they're also offering a substantial reward to help catch his killer.
At the site of where a life was taken, white flowers are present, a symbol of remembrance, honor, and respect. Outside of Pursuit Church in Seattle, where LeBron Givon found sanctuary, gun violence forever changed his family and community.
We're just devastated, really, by what transpired.
Amy Wirch is the executive pastor of Pursuit Seattle. She says LeBron was a parishioner and recently started attending service regularly with his wife and young son. His family now left with an unimaginable void. The church hopes to help them fill it with a memorial fundraiser.
We are just going to stand with the family and with the friends of the victim, and we are just going to show the love as we always do as a community.
As a community, the church is taking it a step further. Russell Johnson, lead pastor of Pursuit Pacific Northwest, announcing a $50,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of the shooting suspect. Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes says detectives are on the hunt for LeBron's killer.
We're going to work diligently to try to bring this person to justice who committed our 23rd homicide of the year.
Seattle Police Department says this white Hyundai Elantra was used in what appears to be a targeted shooting. Officers found that car abandoned and on fire just 2 miles west of the church 6 hours after the gunshots. But the person who pulled the trigger got away.
We don't know what the relationship was between people who were involved, but that will be part of the investigation, trying to determine what the motive was in this particular case.
As the investigation moves forward, the community is taking pause in remembrance of LeBron.
We're just going to rally through with this family.
For the Spotlight, I'm Frankie Thompson.
On the Sunday following LeBron's murder, hundreds of people attended a vigil outside the church. The online fundraiser for his memorial fund has raised $75,000, exceeding its $50,000 goal. Here's another look at the white Hyundai Elantra used in the shooting. If you have any information that could help Seattle homicide detectives, you will remain anonymous when you submit a tip to Crime Stoppers. You can call 1-800-222-TIPS or use the P3 Tips app on your cell phone. Well, to nobody's surprise, 2 suspects accused of stealing Molly, an elderly couple's Pekingese puppy in Fife, did not show up in court this week. Both are now fugitives. Pierce County prosecutors charged Sally Miller and Robert John with theft second degree. A $200,000 bench warrant has been issued for each of them. That's because they've also been charged in a separate case in Tacoma. Prosecutors say John approached a couple in their 80s at the Pickwick Drive-In in Fife and offered to fix a dent in their car for $300 cash. They gave John and Miller a ride to their home so John could use their tools. Police say Miller went into the kitchen and stole almost $50,000 worth of cash, gold, silver, and platinum bullion from a cardboard box. Prosecutors charged them with residential burglary and theft from a vulnerable adult in the first degree. The man's 81-year-old wife has dementia. The two are still believed to be driving the black Tesla they were spotted in after stealing the puppy, who was returned to her owners. If you spot them, please call 911. A man accused of brutally stabbing a woman in Point Defiance Park last year is now standing trial for attempted murder. Investigators say the victim was randomly attacked on a trail, and now she's facing that suspect in court.
I think before this, I had really been terrified of having to face him again. I haven't seen him since, at least in person, since he attacked me.
On February 10th, 2024, Victoria Nizzoli was ambushed in Point Defiance Park, stabbed multiple times in the face and neck. Just weeks after the stabbing attack, she described what happened.
That was when I saw the knife. I begged him to let me go, that I could give him money, that I would give him anything he wanted if I could live. That was when he made it verbally explicit that his intent was to kill me.
Several bystanders heard her screams and stepped in. We talked with one woman who used her 15 years of martial arts training to distract him and then defend her.
Once he turned his attention back off of me and I saw his hand head back towards her upper body, that's when I took a step forward, kicked him in the head, and he staggered off of her and ran off.
He evaded authorities for more than a month, but a sketch eventually led to the arrest of Nicholas Matthew. He was taken into custody in California, where police say he was getting ready to flee to Taiwan. Now he's representing himself at trial.
Something just kind of clicked in me before I had to go testify of how angry I am at him and the rage that I feel that he is going pro se, just to sit there and not say anything. And a couple times I caught him smiling, just sitting there smirking, and that makes me want to punch him. It makes me want a little bit I want payback, but I also just realized the justice system is going to do that for me.
Outside the courtroom, Victoria talked about her lasting injuries.
There's just so much that still exists in terms of, physical things that I'm not able to do, or parts of my head that I can't feel anymore and I'll never feel again. So there are some things that I'm living with for life now.
She also spoke about her journey of healing that eventually led back to the scene of the attack.
That was nerve-wracking, and I went with my partner and we could find the rough spot of the trail where it happened, and it felt like closure. It felt good to go back and just see that it's not a bad, evil place. I just ran into an evil person.
Well, the suspect, Nicholas Matthew, is bipolar and schizophrenic, but last October a judge ruled he is mentally fit to stand trial. We'll keep you posted on what the jury decides. Well, Governor Bob Ferguson is now joining the call for help in the search for Jonathan Wong. The governor recently shared this missing poster on social media. Wong is 21 years old and is autistic. He disappeared from his home in Arlington on March 30th. He was last seen in the South Juanita neighborhood of Kirkland on June 23rd. I recently spoke with Jonathan's dad about the support the family is receiving.
I think we have a great community of supporters and volunteers. And recently we also received support from the Gabby Petito Foundation and Light the Way team to help support, bring awareness to Jonathan's missing case. And, it's constantly surprising to us that we meet people all the time in our outreach that just haven't heard about Jonathan at all, even in our local community. And when we go out to different community events, there's still a lot of people who don't know and are shocked at what's happening and his case. So we are highly encouraged because the governor is the state top executive and he has a huge platform and he reached a lot more people than our group here in Snohomish County. And as the lead executive, we are hoping to meet with the governor, and with his platform and leadership, we can bring together different resources and guide different agencies to support and collaborate with the sheriff's office that they themselves are unable to bring to the table to help find Jonathan.
If you see Jonathan, ask him to identify himself as Jonathan. Take a photo or video if it's safe to do so. Call 911 immediately, and please stay with him until help arrives. We're seeing new video of the moment a South Seattle funeral home was set on fire. Take a look. On the upper left-hand corner, you can see a dark figure moving around. Then a fire starts. Then the suspect runs away as the fire erupts. This happened in the early morning hours of July 30th and did $300,000 in damage to the Columbia funeral home. The suspect was also captured in these surveillance images. Seattle police are investigating a string of at least 4 arson cases since July 23rd in the Mount Baker and Columbia City neighborhoods. Investigators believe the same person may be responsible. The Arson Foundation is offering $10,000 for information that leads to an arrest. You can submit a tip by calling 1-800-55-ARSON, and you can remain anonymous. An arrest in Sammamish serves as a new example of how drones are giving law enforcement an aerial edge when a foot search for a domestic violence suspect turned up nothing. Deputies turned to the skies and a cell phone app.
Last seen westbound on foot.
A King County drone scanning the streets for a domestic violence suspect accused of tackling a relative and stealing her cell phone. Deputies picked up his trail by launching the Find My iPhone app.
I have victim iPhone P and an address in Sammamish.
They soon zeroed in on the suspect, hiding between some bushes and someone's house. But he didn't stay put.
Person standby, he's on the move.
He seemed to have no idea or just didn't care that a drone was tracking his every move. As the shirtless man walked onto 32nd Street, Sammamish police officers on the ground spotted him and watched as he threw the cell phone into a pond.
Come here. Hey, come here. Turn around. Sit down. Sit down.
The man ignored commands and tried to casually walk away, but didn't put up a fight when the cuffs came out.
Come here. Come here. Watch out, watch out, watch out.
Ian Shoring was arrested for robbery second degree and taken to the King County Jail. However, his family did not want a felony prosecution, so it was referred as a mental health case to municipal court, where he was charged with assault in the fourth degree. The sheriff's office says this case is a great example of how their drone program and their de-escalation training are working well together. Next in the spotlight, peeling back the layers of forensic science. A digital sketch artist takes us inside the process of bringing bones back to life. The medical examiner's office in Snohomish County is hoping a new sketch can help identify a woman whose skull was found earlier this year. Take a look at this image of what she may have looked like. The remains were found in Mount Lake Terrace back in January. But the medical examiner's office believes she would have likely been dead for many, many years before the skull was found. And now we're getting some insight into how this image was created. Joining me now is Natalie Murray, the certified forensic artist who created that sketch. Natalie, let's jump right in. A lot of people have been offering suggestions about who the woman may be, and it's based off of your 2D reconstruction. How did you determine what she may have looked like?
Okay, David, I got information from the forensic anthropologist at King County Medical Examiner's Office. He gave me what the sex was and the ancestry on the skull. And so I took back the information when I photographed the skull from the Snohomish County Medical Examiner's Office. All I got was a cranium. And I took that information back. I photographed her, took it back to my home, and did the drawing in my digital forensic art software.
So Natalie, walk us through how you created that forensic sketch.
All right, well, this is the sketch sort of midpoint, but I'm going to show you some of the basic landmarks that I have on the face as I'm doing the drawing. The blue marks that I have on the sides, in the middle of the eyes, and on the sides of the nose and the mouth, those are my landmarks showing me where to attach the eyelids and where the center of the eye is, where the outside of the nose is, and where the measurements on the mouth are. So that's telling me where to attach the features on the face. So when I come through, that's going to show it there, and that's showing where the eyeballs live on the eyes. And so when I come through and do the drawing, that will show me where things are going to fit on the face, and that's the basic drawing there. And then when I darken it in, that's the face that you're looking at, and then I just add hair on top of that, as you see there, and then a face, then a sweater on top of that. But this is the part that I want you to look at. That's the part that the skull is telling me is there. The information that I am given is just the bone. It has nothing to do with the hair or the skin tone even. That's just a guess on the artist's part. You're just focusing on the facial features. So what the skull tells me is the layout of the face, where they are, how long the nose is, how wide the mouth is, how tall the lips are. That's what I want you to look at, where the eyes fall on the face, where the ears are, the shape of the face. That's what you need to look at. I'm just guessing at the color of the hair. That's what looked right to me on this skull. And honestly, I didn't have a mandible either. So it's what looked right on the length of the face. When I drew the top part of the face, that's what kind of fit with the cranium of the skull. So, I mean, if she has a chin like Jay Leno, I'm not going to know that. But where where we go, where a forensic artist fits on that is basically using facial canons on what looks correct on that size of a face, and so that's what I drew here. But where everything else goes, where the color of the skin and the color of the hair, that's just a guess on my part.
Let me ask about the sweater. Is that some piece of information they gave you? They found a sweater, or you just added that?
That is not. No, I just need to put something on her so she's not a head floating in space.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's great information. Natalie, these are the questions people ask me, so I'm very grateful to you for your time.
Okay, sure.
And while the sketch has not yet led to a positive ID on the remains, it has helped rule out these 4 names and other missing persons cases as a match. If you think you recognize this woman or see a trait of hers that you recognize, please contact the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. You can submit a tip by calling 425-388-3845. So, does it work? Well, take a look. Here's another example of Natalie's work. It led to an identification. A Parks employee saw the sketch on the left and recognized him as the man on the right. To see sketches of other local unsolved cases, you can go to her website, nataliemurray.com. Faircrest police are hoping you can help identify these 2 suspects wanted for theft and fraud. Between July 2nd and July 7th, the pair used stolen credit cards to rack up charges at Home Depot stores around the Puget Sound area, totaling $13,000. If you think you know who they are, submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers by using the P3 Tips app. Well, it's enough fentanyl to kill more than 4 million people. 21 pounds of the deadly drug is off the streets in Thurston County, along with cocaine, meth, even LSD. The Thurston County Narcotics Task Force collected so much evidence, it barely fits on this large table. It was discovered while detectives served a search warrant at a home off School Street Southeast. In addition to all of those drugs, they found $116,000 in cash, jewelry, scales, and a handgun without a serial number. They also got a 2025 Toyota Camry. 29-year-old Alan Gomez Delgadilla was booked into jail for 6 felony drug and gun charges, but bail was set at only $25,000. He posted it and went home earlier this week. A drug arrest was captured on body cam video in Tacoma. It started with a neighbor's complaint and ended with a foot chase.
What's going on, man? You just parked on the side of the road with foil just sitting on your lap?
On July 28th, Tacoma police got a 311 complaint from a concerned community member about a parked SUV with people inside using drugs.
Don't you know that stuff's illegal?
The records channel was backed up, so the officer had to run their information on his patrol car computer. And that's when the pair in the SUV booked it.
I'm gonna get you, man. Just stop. Police, you're not free to go.
Clearing a hurdle in this foot chase. Watch as the officer launches over a fence.
Stop! Don't move!
The foot race ended in that backyard as the suspect ran out of steam.
Come on, man. You're not fast enough for me, bud.
Well, the second suspect got away, and even though the driver was booked into jail, the case was referred to Tacoma Municipal Court as a misdemeanor. But despite the drugs and that attempt to flee, the city attorney's office chose not to file any charges. Next to the spotlight, more than 6 animals rescued from cruel conditions in Thurston County. We'll show you the good work of one sanctuary, giving all these pigs and chickens a second chance. Yaka County Sheriff's detectives are asking for your help to find 29-year-old Miguel Granados Vargas. He's from Sunnyside, and he's wanted for murder in the 2nd degree. On August 4th, detectives were called out for a homicide that occurred in an orchard in a rural area of Sunnyside. Deputies say Granados Vargas may have a firearm, so if you see him, do not try to contact him. Call 911 right away. 67 animals have been taken out of horrific conditions at a Thurston County property. Pigs and dozens of birds were found living amongst rotting animal carcasses without any food or water. Now they're recovering at Heartwood Haven Sanctuary in Roy. The Spotlight's Lauren Donovan spoke with rescuers who say it was one of the worst animal cruelty cases that they've ever encountered.
The pens were full of feces. There were dead bodies, I think, pretty much in every single pen. Pigs, chickens, waterfowl. And essentially we were told that either we take the animals or they're going to go to slaughter. Once we saw the conditions that they were in, we decided to take everyone, including the birds, because we couldn't possibly leave them there. Once you leave a situation like that, it's very stressful. You see some really traumatic things that really affect you. But then in the days following, seeing everyone settle in, seeing everyone grazing, wagging tails.
Are tails wagging a good sign?
Yes, it's a happiness response when they're grazing, eating. So these guys have been here now since Saturday. As you can see, they're covered in hay, making nice beds. If you look at this pig right here, you can see her spine, her hip bones. Pigs should never be this thin where you can see bones sticking out like that. Yeah, so they have pretty bad mange. That's why their skin looks so poor. That's why their coat looks so poor. Right now, we're in one of our quarantine fields.
These guys seem excited to see you.
Yeah, these guys are super friendly. And these are very temporary conditions. This is just for quarantine, but the space that they had before was about from here going back, and that was it for the 6 of them. And there was, just thick pack down of like feces and dirt.
You were telling me how many animals that are here right now that were seized weeks ago, months ago. I mean, it's been a busy summer for you all, sadly.
It's always a busy summer for us. We regularly rescue about 200 to 300 animals per year. About, 85% of those come from cruelty cases. Because we deal with cruelty cases on a large scale multiple times a year. We could always use volunteers, donations. Those things make the world go around for us. These animals really need us.
Well, there's no word yet of any arrest made in the case. Once the animals are out of quarantine and back to full health, they will be up for adoption. For more information, find the online version of this story. Go to fox13seattle.com and click on the Spotlight section under the More tab. That does it for us tonight on the Spotlight. Until next week, I'm David Rose. Please stay safe.